I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, welcome to the GH Report, breaking down all the craziness that happens in Port Charles, weekdays on ABC. I'm Frank Moran.
Hi, and I'm Carla Renata.
As always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hop in the chat. I know folks are already in there, so if you're not yet, get in on the conversation.
Yep, here we go. Roll call. Jerry Jacks, Kelly Public Cover, Dolores Leach, Eileen Kopic, Justin Skipper, Devin is the one, Joe Costanzo, Tom Klebb, Susan Russo. I think that's Muni or Money. Sorry if I butchered your name. Annie Goen, and that is it as far as I can see. What's up, y'all? And Joe, I said Joe Costanzo. Yeah. Hey, what's up?
So cool. You want to say his name twice. I understand that.
You got jokes. I kind of love you for that.
We're going to break down the whole week in detail like you love. But before we get into that, Carla, what did you think of this week overall?
I kind of love, my favorite part of this week was the whole Maxie situation and the interaction that happened between her and Nina and Nina and Sasha. Like I felt like Nina was having her Glinda the Good Witch moments. It was hilarious. She was running around Port Charles being Glinda the Good Witch. That was kind of funny to me. But I kind of love that. There was no surprise with, the wedding situation. And I kind of love the situation that popped off with Trina. And the situation that popped off with Dustin and Lulu and Olivia. So there were multiple storylines happening this week, kind of all over the place, which was kind of cool. And I enjoyed that. Like it didn't focus too much on one thing. It kind of popped all over the place. And it didn't feel like, it may have felt like this to you, but it didn't feel like as many flashbacks this time in this episode. Did it feel like a lot to you?
I mean, it always feels like a bit to me, which, I'm not going to mind. It's an opportunity to briefly fast forward because I don't need to watch, Chase and Willow, their romance blossoming again. Like I got it the first time I saw it. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. But before I say what I'm gonna say, Dolores Leach said that she misses your rap, baby. She misses the rap at the beginning of the show. What can you do?
It will come back. Do not worry. And it is one more loss that we're dealing with right now. But when all this resumes kind of its normal state of affairs and we're back in studio together, that rap will be coming back strong. So
Yep. Yep. Who were you talking? Oh, you talking about Willow and Chase. Willow and Chase are like watching paint dry to me. Like I just don't care. And I know that sounds really cold and callous, but I kind of just don't care. I don't really care about Willow and Chase. I care more about Michael and Willow, and I feel like Willow about to grow up real fast because when she ran into Chase at the PCPD, she looked like she had grown a pair. I was like, well, okay, Miss Willow, she did. I'm like, what happened to Snow White Willow? She kind of ran out the window. I was like, what's going on? When she ran into Chase, she was very boom. She said what she had to say and she bounced, and there was no lurking around a corner. There was no prolonged, longing looks. After she left, she turned on her heels and bounced. I was like, well, all righty then.
But we did get to see the great shot of each of them waking up in bed alone, kind of looking over and seeing the empty space next to them. So, I mean, I feel like
except for Sasha. Sasha was just like, Sasha looked like she had been out with her girlfriends on a nice little bender, is what she looked like she had been on. And I love how she just she literally ran out of bed and ran straight to the shoot. And what she was in the bed in, Miss Thing didn't take no shower. She didn't wash her face. I was like, girl, the stench that must have rolled up into that photo shoot with her must have been palpable. Because I was like, oh no. Because Maxie looked at her like, really? This is how you gonna show up to a photo shoot? And I loved, I'm gonna go back to the Maxie thing again because I just loved it so much. I loved how Maxie all this time has been, it's really interesting when people will sit back and they'll watch somebody that is over them do their job and have this romanticized view of how much better they could do the job if they had that job. Like, I cannot tell you in real life how many times I've seen people be in that situation, how many times I've actually thought that about somebody else. I've seen that happen in real life. So to watch it play out on General Hospital with Maxie, knowing that Maxie has sat back in numerous episodes and been very judgy about Nina or whoever she happened to be working for at whatever magazine and whatever situation. And now she's in this situation where it's all on her, that if it fails, it's going to be a big old epic fail and a big old L on her forehead for a minute, not for the rest of her life, but for a minute. And it was interesting to see how she was handling that. She turned into like the sergeant from Private Benjamin. She was like cracking that whip all over the place. I was like, ooh, Maxie, I like this Maxie over here. Like the Maxie that's whining and crying over Peter, I can get rid of her for a minute. This Maxie over here, I was there for all of that.
That whole photo shoot storyline, there's so many bonkers things about all of that.
It was funny though. It was so entertaining. And it wasn't, this is why I loved it. Not to cut you off, but to cut you off. This is why I loved it. I love that we weren't looking at Willow and Chase. I love that we weren't looking at Nelle. I love that we weren't looking at Cyrus Renault or Jordan or Curtis or Trina or Portia or Carly. Like, I love that the focus primarily was on that photo shoot. And let's just talk about this. Who is a makeup artist named Baby Ange? And there wasn't nothing baby looking like about that chick. I was like, I want to know why she's called Baby Ange. Like, she didn't look like a baby. And I'm like, why is she called Baby Ange? Like, was that for comedic purposes? I don't understand. And what did she really do? Like, they went back there and then little Charlotte came out and Charlotte was like, oh, she looks so beautiful. And I'm like, but what Baby Ange did to Sasha's face, Sasha could have did that herself. It ain't like Sasha don't know how to beat a face. I'm just saying. I was like, really, y'all? Come on. Y'all could have did better than that. And then I love how Homegirl, I don't even recall what her name was, but how Homegirl comes in there with a vial of Coke and how Sasha just like sniffed up the whole vial. Like, the fact that she sniffed up the whole vial and her nose didn't explode before she walked out of the dressing room was like, and she had no residue on her face. I was like, really, y'all? Come on now.
So yes, I will agree with you. I enjoyed the Nina scene with Maxie. Thought that was really cool to see that. I do enjoy Sasha having a new boyfriend, and it's cocaine. So,
cocaine.
I mean, this was in what world would a PA just pop into the makeup room and say, "Here, I'm going to give you this vial of cocaine." Usually, I mean, not that I've done cocaine, but I've seen enough movies and TV shows where people have these vials, but nobody ever just gives it to them. They're always like, "Hey, you want to have a bump or share it?" And it's always just a little bit. And she gives her the whole one. Like, how much is this PA working? This PA's not making much money.
That's what I'm saying.
A whole vial of cocaine?
That's what I'm saying. A whole vial, and you're gonna give her the whole vial?
No way.
Get out of here.
You already know, like, Maxie's freaking out about the budget for this photo shoot, so it can't be that much. So this PA is not bringing home that much. So to give her that whole vial, I wanted to see the next shot when the PA comes back to get it and realize, like, oh, you did all of it. That's not what you're supposed to do. That's
that part. Hashtag that part right there. I was like, oh my goodness.
And I do like, just as we couldn't figure out that when Sasha comes back after she's alone there in the makeup room, and she's all like, yeah, let's do this shoot. What's everybody waiting for? Let's go. We have to do the pan of the makeup room and land on
the vial.
And, like, Sasha couldn't even like screw the cap and put it away, like just to hide the fact. Nope, just like, I'm just gonna leave it just hanging out here.
Well, but you'd really have to look for it to find it, because it was hidden underneath the bottom part of that makeup case. Like, it was underneath there. So you would have to flip that over to find it. I'm just saying. It wasn't like it was sitting on top of the lipstick.
You know, I mean, I guess there's been talk about what's going to happen with Chase or Sasha now that we have this new dynamic with Michael and Willow being married. Are you excited about seeing a Sasha descending into a cocaine addiction storyline?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. But I am excited to see Willow become empowered because her being the withering flower has been getting on my last nerve. So I am excited to see her become empowered, and I am excited to see how she handles Nelle moving forward, because you can already tell that scene where she was in the bed and she was putting on her wedding rings. You could already tell just from that she was. It was like a whole. It was like a whole new world had popped into her head. Like I don't think that she really realized what marrying Michael really meant until she woke up the next day. Like I think when she woke up the next day is when it kind of sort of hit her. And I think that what Sasha predicted was going to happen is going to happen. Sasha said within 3 years, Willow's going to be madly in love with Michael. Child, she on her way there now. I'll give it a couple of months, if that. Don't you think?
Well, I mean, I feel like that's the only way the storyline could go, because otherwise, I mean, one, the child custody hearing can't go in their way because then there's really no drama for the storyline, I think. So I think
Right.
it's going to be 50-50 custody, I think, at best. So I will be curious to see now if Willow just gets half custody of Wiley, what else that she does other than, I mean, she's got to have something other than just realizing, like, oh wow, I really do love Michael. I don't know if I want to watch just that happening for Willow, but I'll be curious to see what else she can get herself involved with.
Well,
Involved with.
they're also making a good point in the chat, and you've said this on numerous occasions as well, that Michael's girlfriends always die except for Nelle. She's like a cockroach; she can't be killed. But all of his girlfriends, they either get sick, they always die, something happens to them. So, what do we think do we think something's gonna happen to Willow?
Well, I mean, I already foresee if they're going to go with the Sasha addiction to cocaine storyline, then I foresee 4, 5, 6 months from now, whenever production resumes, we see Sasha OD and Michael races to the hospital to be with her, and there's going to be that moment where it's like, what have I done? What's gone on? What have we done? So I feel like I'm going to see that scene. So what that means for Michael and Willow, if they realize, like, wow, we really kind of made a mistake, and we do love Chase and Sasha respectively. How do we get out of this? Can we get out of it?
Right. Which brings me to this. So the court situation happens. Everything's leading up to this court date that they have with Nelle for custody of Wiley. Everything is leading up. Everything for months has been leading up to that. The day finally comes, and it's looking like Nell's not going to show up when she comes bursting through the door in a dress with a ring and a ring on her finger and a bouquet in her hand. Now, prior to this, we see a scene with her and Chase. We see a scene with her and Julian. Which one of them do you think she married?
Oh, we know it's Julian. I mean, there's no doubt in that.
Or did she marry Cyrus Renault? Because we wouldn't even seen that come. Look, I know that's far-fetched. I know it is. But look at what kind of damage she could do if she married Cyrus Renault. And we would never see that coming. I know that's far-fetched and I know it's crazy, but I'm just going to put it out there.
There are so many things about this Nelle storyline that is driving me crazy. One, where she goes to Charlie's to try to get Julian to, hey, will you stand up for me in court, say some things, be good character witness? You know, if you do, I'll make sure you get a chance to see Wiley, blah, blah, blah. Julian shuts you down. Love it. That's great. Says, hey, get out. We don't serve you here. You're gone. So Julian has to leave to go help Brook Lynn. And so Nelle just decides, oh, I'm just going to hang here. Even though, I'm at a place I'm not wanted, I'm just going to hang. And she has to, so she can overhear Lucy and Sasha talking. Lucy getting the phone call from Sonny, hey, can you officiate Michael and Willow's wedding?
Right.
So she can hear that information. So then she melts down and she goes to the bathroom. And how long she's in this bathroom, by the time that Julian and Brook Lynn come back to Charlie's, the place is closed. So you're saying,
like, what was she doing? Baking a cake in there? I'm like, that's a good point. She was in there forever.
But nobody went and checked that bathroom before they closed because everybody else is gone. You're closing down the place for the night. You check the premises, but nobody does. And so, of course, Then we have to sit there and listen to Brook Lynn and Julian have that really stilted soap opera conversation because you need to talk like that for Nelle to hear all this juicy information. There's no reason for Brook Lynn to talk like that. Nobody would talk like that in real life, but you have to do it so Nelle can hear that information.
It was bananas. It was bananas. It was bananas.
Which then I don't understand, because then Julian and Brook Lynn get a call and they leave. And so Nelle's there by herself. So Julian locked the door. So somehow Nelle got out of Charlie's and was able to lock it back up so that when Julian gets back in, he realizes, wait, this place
maybe
is locked.
There was okay. In her defense, maybe there was a lock on the inside of the door that when you pull it shut, it automatically locks. Just saying.
Are you telling me that like he doesn't have like a security code or anything?
Look, well, clearly not. Do you ever see him put a security code on when he goes out of there? No. Maybe he had one, those locks that's like a little button on the side of the doorknob.
That's it for Charlie.
Maybe it was one of those locks. I'm just gonna put it out. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Oh. So yeah, I mean, she arrives late at Charlie's and pounds on the door till which one, I don't even know why Julian opens the door, but of course he has to, so Nelle can blackmail him into marrying her. Oh, so
yeah, that was comical at best. It really was. It was quite entertaining. I
mean, I feel like because of that Brook Lynn stuff, and the way that Mac is going down on Chase about like, hey, you can't keep arresting this lady because there's gonna feel like it's harassment at some point.
Because he was harassing her.
She ripped up the ticket. And
he's mad about Willow, so he's taking it out on Brook Lynn.
Do you foresee them trying to start at least a temporary romance between the two of them?
Nah, she's too preoccupied with Dustin. She's way too preoccupied with that. But in true soap opera fashion, they always do have people hook up that hate each other. I mean, Sonny and Ava hooked up and they couldn't stand each other in a cemetery, no less. So, I mean, there's that. One moment that I really loved, though, was the moment where Robert wakes up in Laura's house.
Yeah, that was nice.
And she comes, but this is the thing that I was like, because she comes down, she's got on the robe, it's kind of slightly open. You can see the little lacy cami. I'm like, oh, did Laura get busy? Did she get busy behind Kevin's back with Robert? Oh, the shade of it all. And then you realize that she was just pulling his leg. She pulled my leg too, because she had me for a minute. I was like, oh, Laura. I was like, oh, Laura got jokes.
I'm excited about a storyline that gives us more opportunity to see Tristan Rogers, John J. York, involved in whatever's possibly could have happened to Holly. Is she really dead? Is she not? Was the sinking of the boat, was that deliberate, or was it just an accident? But I just also know that given the realities of the soap opera production process, those actors are probably only under contract for a certain number of episodes a year. So the storyline's never going to turn into a front burner. So I feel like we're just going to see drips and drabs of the storyline, and I'll be disappointed by the lack of on-screen time for these actors.
Well, they're saying in the chat room that Brook Lynn is way too good for Chase. I mean, after the way she dogged him out, I don't know if that could actually happen. And then somebody else, now this is a good one. Who is it? Devin is the one is saying that, ooh, she married Dante, who clearly has mental issues. Now that would be a good soap. That's because they kind of did allude to he might be coming back. Like we see an email that Olivia has sent to him for his birthday, and they haven't been talking about Dante for a minute, but now they're talking about Dante again. You see the email. Like I'm feeling like there might be some kind of correlation between what's going on with Dante and what's going on with Holly. I don't know. Again, I'm just putting it out there. I don't know, but it's feeling a little, I don't know. I'm curious to see what's going to happen there with that. But I did love the fact that Olivia said that she kind of calmed down a little bit, because Lulu was like, yo, I didn't just invite Dustin to come for Daddy Day. Like Rocco asked him to come. Rocco didn't want to be the only one there without a dad. Like Olivia is so blindsided over this situation with her son that she doesn't see how anybody else feels or how anybody else is affected by Dante's absence but her. And she keeps lashing out at Lulu. And it's like, yo, homegirl's just doing the best she can. You know, she's doing the best she can without a father figure. She's doing the best she can. Why are you consistently popping off and attacking her? How would you like it if somebody did that to you? Oh yeah, they did do that to you because you were raising Dante by yourself and people were popping off in your face too. So why would you do that to somebody else? It's just so foul in the big scheme of things.
I mean, that character beat is getting very tiresome. But again, anybody yelling at Lulu at this point with Lulu's character, I'm fine with turning to Lulu because she annoys the heck out of me too. So like I like when Lulu runs into Laura later after she has that conversation, and the way she phrases that whole statement to Laura, it's like, I think I really kind of blew up my relationship with Rocco's other grandmother. Just say Olivia. Just say Olivia. Why do you need to say it like that?
Because she don't want to say Olivia's name, and I ain't mad at her. I wouldn't say her name either. I wouldn't let her name cross my lips either. It's just a lot going on with that situation, and I'm kind of tired. I'm tired of her browbeating Lulu, and Lulu is not my favorite, but I'm really just getting tired of her browbeating Lulu every time she sees Lulu. Like, just because Dante is having some mental issues, that's not Lulu's fault. You can't keep blaming Lulu for something that happened to your son or something that your son did. Like, that's your son. She ain't got nothing to do with that. Like, I can't. It's just too much. It's too much. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, and especially Dante was the one that said, hey, we're cutting this off. I'm divorced. I want a divorce. So I mean, it'd be one thing if Dante hadn't said that and
Right.
Lulu moved ahead with it anyway. I can see Olivia getting out of shape, but Dante's been instigating all of this. So yeah, dial it back, Olivia. But Lulu, with her judginess, whether it's like at the photo shoot where she starts laying into Chase, like, ease up, Lulu. Please, you are not some paragon of virtue.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna need people to stop popping off on Chase too. It's like, you know, what's really interesting to me? Nobody's popping off on Sasha, but they all popping off on Chase. Do you notice that? Which usually in a situation like that, they usually pop off on the girl. Like when it was Ava messing around and doing shenanigans, they would pop off on her all the time and they never said anything to the guys. But with this situation, it's the opposite. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, we did get Lucy's kind of like, hey, I know what it's like to be the town
tramp.
Yeah.
Was like, and the look on Sasha's face when she said that, I'm like, Lucy Cole, look, Kettle, I'm gonna need you to go sit over in a corner somewhere and have several seats. I love Lucy. Lucy Cole. Lucy Herring has made such a huge, unforgettable character out of Lucy Cole. Like, she just makes her clueless and no matter what is going on in Port Charles with anybody, somehow Lucy always finds a way to make it about her. Always. She always finds a way to make it about her. And I love how in that moment, Homegirl was like, look, let me holler at you for a second. I know what it's like to be the town tramp. And Sasha was like, is that what they saying about me? They calling me the town tramp? And Lucy was like, well, that look that she gave her was just pure shadiness at its best. I love her so much on that soap. I love her, love her, love her. Ooh, I'm so glad so happy that they bring her back because it's just good times whenever she's back. It's always good times whenever she's back. I did want to talk about Trina though. But you know what I did notice this week before I started talking about Trina? I probably noticed this before and forgot to say something. The guy that's playing Cyrus Renault, he's disabled. He has a hearing aid. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I have noticed that.
I love that. I'm like, okay, GH, strong J, for, having somebody that, okay. But he gives me the creeps. Like, I'm gonna have to look him up and see what he did before, because every time he comes on the screen, I'm like, ooh. Like, I just want to go, ooh. I just want to get some hand sanitizer and be like, oh God. I just can't. But when he comes into that hospital and Trina comes charging for him. I live for those moments where Trina pops off, because Trina looks like she is one fistful shy of taking somebody out. Like I need for Trina to just go pop pop one good time. I just need to see her punch somebody in their throat one good time and have them pull her off. I just need to see it once, just one time, just one time. Have Trina pop off. But this time, her mama pulls her off, Portia pulls her off, and then when Curtis comes to her rescue after she done jumped all up in Cyrus Renault's face, I'm like, oh, this little girl ain't got no shame. She gonna get up in the mob boss's face. That's guts for you. And then Curtis jumps in front of her. Are you okay? And she's like, why do you care? I'm like, I'm getting tired of. I'm getting tired of her popping off on Jordan and Curtis. Like, enough is enough. Cut it out.
I mean,
Cut
again,
it out.
it's one of those things where, in real life, people take their time to process this stuff, and you kind of you give them that possibility. But man, in the soap opera world, Cal, like 2 weeks of that is like 6 months or 8 months. So after having these many weeks of her just doing that same thing, talking, I really need to know what's next with Curtis, Portia, and Trina. What's next in the storyline?
You hold on one second. They're saying in the chat room that the guy that's playing Cyrus Renault was Billy Clyde Tuttle. No, he wasn't. That guy that played Billy Clyde Tuttle just passed away on General Hospital. That was on All My Children. He just passed away. This is a different dude. I don't know what show he was. Oh, somebody said he was Carl on Another World. Yeah, because he wasn't Billy Clyde Tuttle. The guy that played Billy Clyde Tuttle on All My Children just passed away. So I just wanted to give y'all some insight on that. But continue, Frank.
Basically, I'm done with the character beats of Trina laying into Jordan and Curtis. So, can we move on to this next? Because I feel like every time this happens, we're getting the same thing again and again and again. And I'm waiting for Portia to be a little more stern with. I mean, she stood up a little bit for like, hey, dial it down on these two. But man, I know again, just somebody needs to put Trina in check real quick.
Well, I think they kind of holding. So as a Black woman, I think that they're holding off on having Portia be that person, because we already got Trina being that person. We don't need every Black person on the screen being the angry Black person. We got Curtis popping off. We got Jordan popping off. We got Trina popping off. We don't need every Black character on the show popping off. So I think that's why they kind of have Portia being the docile one, being the one that's the voice of reason. Because, Black people be feeling some kind of way about every Black person on the screen being the angry Black person, because then it becomes all about, well, why they angry? Why they got to make the Black people angry? The white people on the show are angry too. It ain't just about the Black people. And truth be told, if somebody killed your daddy, you be popping off too, Black, white, or otherwise. So there's that. But
absolutely. I mean, and it's true. I mean, that's real life for sure. But man, after so many weeks of getting that same kind of scene,
that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I just needed her to go pap pap. I just need it one time. I just need a pap pap one more time. I just need it. I just need it. I just need to be like pap pap. I'm just saying. I just need it. I need it in my life. I need it so much.
We've moved on from the photo shoot, but one other thing I want to bring up before we completely to bed is when Sasha does show up for this photo shoot, and she's all hopped up on coke and she's ready to go. The setup for that photo shoot, extremely lame, because she just basically walks into the corner of that room. She gets tucked into the corner. That was it. That does not look like a photo shoot.
Right, because Maxie talked about this photo shoot and how much money was spent. So y'all spent so much money to put her in the corner of the room. Did the whole budget go to craft services? I'm just saying, because there was a plethora of craft services over in the other corner. There was all kind of snacks over there. I was like, can a sister get a snack?
And I would think if that's a place where the photo shoot is happening, you keep talking about this photographer. Where the heck is the photographer? He's hanging out in the corner somewhere? He would be right there. There's to be the crew and everybody. Oh, the lights. Oh, that was ridiculous.
I think this is what happened. I think this was toward the end of when they were trying to shoot. And I think they probably didn't have the full staff there. So they weren't able to create a set as full and as lush as they normally would have under those circumstances. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm a cut them a break, and I'm gonna go with the fact that they didn't have a full staff to kind of like, work that magic like we would normally see it. Don't you think?
I mean, I'm going to think that they had, I would think that it, because think like even at our places of work or mine, I mean, we were all full staffed until we weren't. So
Right.
then it was
Yeah.
like,
And I feel, and not for nothing, but y'all that are listening and y'all that are watching us on YouTube, y'all need to just go in the comment section and give the staff at AfterBuzz TV a big old clap, 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 and a big old thumbs up. They are operating on fumes, and they are producing and writing and doing everything that a full staff normally would do on a weekly basis with just a handful of people. They are working it out, and they're doing it very enthusiastically, and they're positive. Nobody's been complaining. It's a beautiful thing. So every time you see Frank and I here doing the General Hospital report or the General Hospital after show for you, know that there are some people that are operating on fumes so that you guys can enjoy the shenanigans of Frank Moran and myself every Sunday at 6 o'clock.
that is true. The AfterBuzz staff has been fantastic during this time. They found a way to keep bringing that great content that not just for this show, but for so many shows that fans love to watch. So it's been
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I very rarely positive, but I will be positive about that.
You would want to be positive. Look, I have to go off course for a second. I see you've been Amazon busy. I see them Amazon boxes in the background.
That's right, man. I'm doing my shopping from home.
Look, I'm not mad at you. I'm an Amazon fiend too. As a matter of fact, when I get off this meeting right here, I'm gonna go grab mine from the locker out front.
One of the things too is where drips and drabs of other storylines. The scene between Carly and Chase. Again, much like the scene with Carly and Sasha, I do like that Carly is cognizant of the sacrifices that Chase and Sasha are making, and is at least can't fully admit that she knows, because then she's got to tell Michael, but at least in her way saying, thank you so much for doing what you're doing.
Right. She's being hella understanding under this, because she went through that. She went through this with Jason and with AJ and with Michael and Sonny back in the day. So she knows exactly how Sasha and Chase feel, and she has so much empathy for them. It's actually quite lovely for her to see that. What else? I just want to say this real quick. What else was really lovely was the fact that everybody was so positive about Willow. They went from being totally against Michael marrying Willow to now they're like, oh, you're gonna love the families. Like she was marrying Prince Charles or something, or Prince Harry or Prince William. I'm like, child, he ain't royalty. He got a little bit of cash, but he ain't royalty. What's going on? I can't.
Yeah, I know. It's
I can't with it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll just take it as it comes and see where the storyline goes.
So they're asking in the chat room. They're saying, will there be a GH report during the GH repeats? Probably not, because Frank and I have discussed, and we have come to the conclusion that most of these repeats are shows that we've recapped in the past. So we probably will take a little break, but if we end up with an interview with somebody from the show, we'll make sure to promote that so that you guys can see that. But we have 4 more episodes left this week. So we will do another GH report next Sunday. But after that, it's a little sketchy, but we'll take it a day at a time and let y'all know. Right, Frank?
That's right. Yes. I mean, it's after that, it's 3 weeks of hot Nurses Ball content coming your way. So all the way from 2014 up to last year's Nurses Ball. I've as much as I love the Nurses Ball, so I can hate on it and complain about the whole premise about it. I don't need to revisit things I've already shared my frustrations with.
But if they show a Nurses Ball that we haven't seen, then we could probably talk about that. You're like, no.
I am absolutely good. Yeah, I mean, unless we want to do a full hour on Mac and Mr. Marvels, then yeah, maybe. But whoo, baby.
I hate you right now. I hate you so much.
So I mean, that's the one thing though, is when the show comes back, uh, do you want it to pick up immediately where the show ends next Thursday? And just pick up nothing, haven't missed a beat, or would you prefer the show to treat it as a time jump? We jump in 3 months later, and we pick up all the storylines 3 months later.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think a time jump would make more sense, is what I think. It would make more sense because if we picked up where we left off, it'll just drag out a little bit. And I don't know how the viewers will stay engaged for that. I think if they did a time jump, it would keep people a little more engaged.
Well,
Don't you?
I would agree because I feel like these repeats. I mean, ABC is has to play their hand they're dealt with, and they're having to deal with trying to keep viewership going during a time when they don't have fresh content. So I mean, viewership could decline a little bit. I feel like if they want to get behind promoting something, when the show does come back, having the fact that you could tease all new status quos. That's a cool time jump. We're going to see characters and situations that we weren't expecting. That's a cool way to suck some people back in, possibly.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see what goes down. So I think that's just about it. We covered everything, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're not. I mean, it looks like we won't be getting a nurse's ball this year. I mean, that is one thing that even if the show, I mean, if the show that comes back and picks up right where it left off, we get a nurse's ball, but it shows in August or September.
Well, we were having this discussion before, and the nurses' ball is always in conjunction with Heart Health Month, which is happening either now or in June. So I don't know if there's another month during the year that they dedicate to heart stuff. Maybe they will do something dedicated to COVID-19 just to update it a little bit based on where we are in the world right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Do you want to see General Hospital acknowledge COVID-19?
I do. I think it would be. I think it would be nice for them to acknowledge that. Like it would be nice for them to acknowledge that. I think ABC has always been really, really good, especially with their soap opera content, about acknowledging what's parallel in the real world. So I'm pretty sure that maybe they are working on dealing with this pandemic and infiltrating it into the soap. Maybe they will come back sooner than we think. Maybe they have some what is that? Maybe they'll have some Zoom episodes that they'll do, like maybe 2 or 3 or something like that, because that would be in real time. If you're dealing with a soap opera in real time, then you kind of have to show what's happening in the real world. And ABC has always been so really on point with that. ABC and General Hospital was talking about AIDS before anybody else was, with the whole Stone storyline and with Robin. And they've always been ahead of the curve with everything. So I'm hoping that they keep that through line when it comes to this. I hope that they don't ignore it and just act like it didn't happen. That would be unfortunate.
I mean, that is something that would make me a proponent of doing just a time jump. We jump in late August, early September, and everything else has been just put on pause. And it's a good explanation for why maybe there aren't as many people around on sets, extras and stuff, because we're not going to really have that. Doing a nurse's ball is not really going to work, at least in the beginnings of production. It's not gonna. You can't have that many people around. So
no. Maybe they will do a nurse's ball virtually, because a lot of people have been doing that, and I've seen a few of them, and they actually go really well when they do those virtual things, those virtual money raisers and fundraisers and things. They go really well, and some of them are extremely entertaining. So maybe ABC will infiltrate something like that. I don't know, but yeah.
But then we miss out on that hot red carpet reporting because everybody cares
Well,
about.
they could still do that virtually too, because I'm doing junkets virtually, and it's pretty hilarious the way they're doing it. Like they're putting us in a hospitality room like they would if we were really there. Like it's pure comedy. It really is. And I just kind of, I kind of put myself on mute and put an image up because I just can't be staring at the screen with a ring light on for that long. Like there was one day I was staring at the screen so long that I think I detached my retina or something. I was like, I have got to just turn these lights out. It's too much production happening.
Well, hopefully, when we come together next Sunday, we'll have a little bit more idea of what's in store for GH after the 3 weeks of Nurses Ball stuff. ABC says they're going to announce it, but they haven't yet. Maybe they will by the time we meet next Sunday.
Absolutely.
Yes, but we'll definitely be back here next Sunday to say a little farewell to everybody, and as we take a little hiatus. That's all right. Just a little bit of time. You'll miss us. You'll miss us. And
Yeah,
then
you're used to us taking hiatuses anyway, so it's not like we've never done it before.
But thank you, folks, for joining us here. We look forward to seeing you next Sunday as well. As always, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and thank you to each and every one of you that are in the chat. If you're watching after a stream live, though, feel free to comment down below. And if you want to stay in touch with either Carla or myself, even after the show's over, Carla, where can they find you?
You can find me across all social media platforms at The Curvy Critic. You can also find me right before this at Black Hollywood Live for my show, The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Next week, I will have Janelle Monáe and DJ Shangela Pierce from We're Here on HBO as my guest. And on Mondays, you can find me right back at AfterBuzz TV doing the after show for HBO's Insecure.
Look at that. I've got nothing going on, folks. So find out about how much nothing I have going on at Jackie. So that's going to do it for this episode of the GH Report. Again, we'll be back here next Sunday with an all-new episode right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.